everyone, and welcome back to our general session track. Next up, we have a fireside chat titled The Top Opportunities for AI Innovation in Retail, coming from Ankur Mehrotra, Director and GM at AWS AI. Ankur has been at Amazon for 14 years. He currently leads multiple product and service portfolios at AWS, including personalization and marketing intelligence, ML at the edge, healthcare and life sciences, and thought leadership programs such as AWS Deep Racer and the AWS AI ML Scholarships Program, in addition to having managed services for forecasting and anomaly detection in the past. Before AWS, he was part of Amazon's retail organization, where he drove the development of automated advertising technology and grew it to be a significant traffic channel for Amazon. Ankur also spent several years building systems that automate pricing decisions for products sold on Amazon. Please join me in welcoming Ankur to the virtual stage.
Hello, Ankur. Welcome to the virtual stage.
Hey, Dan. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. We're so happy to have you here. I know all our attendees are giving you a big virtual round of applause right now for your joining.
Thank you.
So we have just about 15 to 20 minutes, so we'll jump right into it. Before we begin with the questions, I was wondering if you would mind just introducing yourself for the audience, talking about who you are and what your role at AWS is.
Sure. Yeah. My name is Ankur Mehrotra, and I'm a GM at AWS, which is part of Amazon. And I run a few different AWS service portfolios. So this includes AWS services for things such as marketing intelligence, which includes personalization, related technologies, as well as things such as healthcare and life sciences and AI and ML at the edge, as well as some of our thought leadership programs such as AWS Deep Racer, Deep Composer, in case you've heard of those. Previously, I've spent many years in the Amazon consumer organization working on some of our retail technologies and products. And overall, I've been at Amazon for about 14 years now.
Yeah. And we're so happy to have you here, Ankur. It's really exciting to us that you've been on the consumer retail side and now the AWS side. I think it is really cool to have your perspective as a part of the event. All right. So the first question I'd love to ask you is, what are some of the key trends you're seeing in retail related to the adoption of AI and ML? And also, how have they changed during the pandemic?
Sure. Yeah. So there are two main things we've seen. Firstly, consumers have started engaging with businesses more and more through digital channels, and this is not just happening in retail; it's happening everywhere. Across retail, banking, financial services, etc. And this has only accelerated during the pandemic. Every digital touch point is an opportunity for retailers to optimize the customer experience and increase engagement and conversion rates. And what we see is that AI and ML can really be a transformational tool here. And many retailers are considering using AI and ML for driving these optimizations more and more recently. Another change we've seen is that retailers are looking at more automation to improve their operations. So this includes supply chain planning or in-store operations for physical retail. And during the pandemic, we all have seen and felt the impact of supply chain disruption. And while many of these issues here are out of control for most retailers, we do see retailers taking the time to index more heavily on driving more efficiency in their operations, and AI and ML can really be effective here. So that's the two things we've seen.
Gotcha. Okay, great. And then so to jump into the next topic, what AWS capabilities and services can help retailers innovate with AI and ML at a faster pace than they might ordinarily be able to?
Yeah. So let me give some background here. So I don't know if you remember, but back in the late 90s, Amazon launched a feature called customers who bought this also bought these products, and that feature is still there. It stood the test of time, but that was the first machine learning based personalization feature that Amazon launched on its website. And that was so successful that Amazon invested heavily in personalization and content optimization based research in AI and ML. And fast forward to today, uh, we have personalization everywhere on different Amazon properties and products, whether it's our retail website or our application, the mobile shopping application, or email marketing, push notifications, even other products such as Alexa, etc. And a lot of AWS customers over the years have asked us how they can learn from from our journey over the last 2 decades of research in this area. And they've asked for help with implementing similar technologies in production. And we often in the past, really pointed them to research papers that were coming out of Amazon. And then they told us, well, it's really hard going from a research paper to a large scale system running in production that uses an AI and ML for personalization. So we took that feedback and not just in personalization, but other areas too. And we've built some of these technologies as AWS services to help AWS customers. So one of these is Amazon Personalized, which is an AWS service for building real-time personalized user experiences. So this is the service basically includes all the things that we've learned about personalization over the years, and it packages it up as simple to use APIs. And so you can use the service and apply and use your data, your consumer behavioral data, to train and deploy machine learning models that can do personalization for your use case. And you can put put personalized recommendations on different surfaces, such as whether it's your website or app or marketing content, etc. Another similar service area where we got similar feedback from AWS customers was demand planning in supply chain. So way early in our business here at Amazon, consumer business, we realized that accurately planning for demand for all kinds of different products was going to be a challenge as we increased our selection, as the number of fulfillment centers increased. So we invested heavily in AI and ML for accurate demand planning and demand forecasting. And so we launched a service called Amazon Forecast, which works in a very similar way. So you can use the service to apply AI and ML for forecasting on your past sales and demand data, and generate accurate forecasts for demand for different products, and use it in your operations. One more product that I would talk about is a product called AWS Panorama. So this is something that we launched just last year in October. And so Panorama is actually a combination of a device and a service. So this is the device is called the Amazon AWS Panorama appliance. It connects to your local network in a physical space, and it can add computer vision to your existing camera infrastructure. So most retailers have some kind of IP cameras in their stores, and these, all you can do is basically record and watch the footage from these cameras. And now we're using AWS Panorama. You can turn this existing IP camera infrastructure into a system that can automatically apply computer vision models at the edge to do things like monitoring traffic patterns in your store, or queue monitoring, or heat mapping your store to see where there's more, how you may want to change your store layout. So there are all kinds of different ways in which retailers are looking to apply AI and ML in their operations, and these products happen to be a few of them that are playing a big role.
Wow, that's so exciting to hear you talk about all those. Of the three use cases you talked about, Amazon Personalize, Amazon Forecast, and Panorama, do you feel that these particular use cases are in some ways representative of some of the more accessible and high ROI use cases for ML in retail? Would you say that's true, or you don't necessarily think that's the case?
Oh, definitely. I think these are things. So, for example, personalization is something that can directly impact business output, and that's something that our customers really love about Amazon Personalize, for instance, that they are able to deploy the most sophisticated recommendation system on their application or application within within a matter of days, and see a direct increase in their revenue or engagement rates or retention. And so it's in a way, a lot of our customers, they tell us that they were surprised how they could change their business output or increase their business output without actually change to their business inputs. I mean, that's amazing. It makes it a no-brainer. Similarly, forecasting as well. I mean, more accurate forecasting can directly lead to lower stockouts, and which obviously directly impacts to revenue, or in some cases reduced wastage. These are definitely things that have high ROI for most retailers.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you so much. And then, just to illustrate the use cases a little bit more, what are some key examples of retailers putting these services to use? What more can you say about that?
Yeah, there are many. For example, Marco Polo, which is a leading lifestyle brand, they send these newsletters to hundreds of thousands of their customers. And so they used Amazon Personalize to add recommendations based on for different products based on the prior purchase and purchase history for their customers. And they saw a 56% increase in product purchases compared to the standard emails that they were sending out before. So that's a huge increase for them, and huge business impact with very low investment. Similarly, StockX is a marketplace for fashion products like sneakers, streetwear, etc. And they almost have like a stock exchange like experience with bid ask features, and they treat products as high value tradable commodities. Very unique, customer experience. So they used Amazon Personalize to add recommendations to their homepage. And these are personalized recommendations which appear when you just visit their homepage of their website. And they saw, click-through rates with the product rails on their homepage go up by 50%, which is again huge. Another example that comes to mind is Lotte Mart, which is a leading retailer for groceries and clothing, toys, electronics across East Asia. And they have about more than 600,000 daily shoppers across 189 stores. And they have a coupon system where they deliver coupons to, through on their customers' mobile phones to encourage them to visit their store, and by promoting in-store savings. And they used Amazon Personalize to deliver personalized coupons to their customers. And they saw that the coupon usage actually doubled, and they also observed a 1.7x increase in new product purchases. And for forecasting, as an example, More Retail is a pioneer in omni-channel food and grocery retail in India, and they have over 650 supermarkets all over India. And for them, as you can imagine, with grocery items, wastage was a huge issue because the shelf life for products is so limited. So they used Amazon Forecast to improve their demand planning, and they saw that their forecasting accuracy went up from 27% to 76%, which resulted in a 20% reduction in wastage, which was a huge win. So these are some of many examples of how these retailers are applying AI and ML at a much faster pace by using some of these AI services from AWS.
Yeah, thank you so much for illustrating all that. And so, something that a lot of executives seem to say about different use cases for machine learning is that it can be very difficult to decide whether a particular solution is right for them, prioritize different use cases. So the question I'd love to ask is, what is the best way for retailers to evaluate if some of the services, for example, that you just mentioned, are the right ones to address a particular use case that they may have?
Great question. Yeah, so first of all, I think in addition to having a well-defined use case, it is also equally or more important to have a well-defined success criteria. We've been in situations where we've done proof of concepts, we've built proof of concepts with AWS customers, and then once we had some results, those customers weren't sure what the next steps were or what to do or what to conclude from the results. So I think it's really important to have a well-defined success criteria. The other thing I would say is if you're already an AWS customer, please work with your account manager, and your account manager can act as your single point of contact for for anything you're trying to do with AWS services, and they can bring in experts and specialists, etc. But at a high level, there are three ways you can go about this. The first one is if you already have a team of software engineers, and then you can access all our self-service resources, technical documentation, etc. And where you have questions, you can engage with specialists or solution architects who can jump on a call with you and answer your questions and help you implement a working system using some of these AWS services. We also offer professional services if you don't have a large enough engineering or development team, or you don't have the bandwidth, then our professional services can work with you to work backwards from a business problem and build a solution using AWS that will meet your needs. And then lastly, AWS also has a large partner network. So you can choose to work with any of the AWS partners who are experts when it comes to AWS services. And just like our professional services, they can also work backwards from a business problem and really map out a solution and implement it for you and also maintain it if you'd like.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you so much for all that. Yeah, that definitely makes a ton of sense. What would you say is your top advice for retailers who are looking to increase the application of AI and machine learning in their businesses? Let's say they haven't really began, on their journey. You've just given a lot of information for them to think about. What's a good first step, would you say?
Sure, yeah. One thing I would say is focus on data readiness. AI and ML techniques and models, they're very data hungry and they require data to learn complex patterns in your business over time and make predictions based on that. And a lot of times we see, businesses wanting to, build something using an AI and ML, and they're like, okay, we're ready, let's get started. We understand what we need to do. And then the first bottleneck that they face is having data ready. And by ready, I mean, having data collated from different sources, structured, organized, and accessible in a way that can be used to train AI and machine learning models. So for example, for personalization, this can be consumer behavioral data, right? So this can be all your clicks, purchases from your website or application. For forecasting, it can be your past sales or demand data. So it's really important to have a data strategy, and it's important to focus on data readiness before we begin to invest in AI and ML. And we've seen AWS customers do this in a variety of ways. Some customers are investing in building their own data lakes. Some are partnering Some are using some, CDPs, customer data platforms, to organize their data. And some are, building something custom, or something as simple as storing the data, all their data in at one place.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you so much for that. One question I do have, just to follow up on that, is, with the proliferation of synthetic data and then data from other sources, do you feel that one's data strategy can involve taking data that isn't their own, or do you feel that with your clients, you typically recommend using kind of their own data? I know in the beginning you mentioned, have your kind of data, so just clarifying.
Yeah, no, I think adding other data sets to enrich your own data can definitely be useful in many cases. At AWS, we've created something called the AWS Data Exchange, which is where you can go and buy these data sets from other third-party sources and use those to enrich your own data. And AWS Data Exchange works seamlessly with other AWS services, which you may be using to build your data lakes or collate all your data at one place. So first-party data is definitely really valuable, but in many cases you may you may need to enrich your data with other data sets, and that's usually a good thing to do.
Great. Well, we're almost out of time. Just one final question. Drawing on all your experience from Amazon and AWS, I just want to ask you, what innovations do you view as the absolutely most cutting edge, exciting, promising for AI and machine learning in retail?
You mean at AWS or in general?
Just in general, any trends that are exciting for you personally that you're noticing? I mean, you're in the thick of this.
Yeah, I think, as you may have, I don't know if you've been to an Amazon Go store, or at least heard.
Oh yeah, my favorite.
Yeah, so I think we call it the just walk out shopping experience. So that to me is really, really exciting. I mean, and it's all powered by machine learning. And although this technology is not yet in use at scale, I'm confident that we'll get there, and you see more and more of Amazon Go stores popping up, and now we've also started sort of partnering with other retailers as well. So I'm really excited to see how the space will evolve.
Thank you, Ankur. What a great session. That's it for today's general session content. We hope you enjoyed the session so far, and we'll see you at our track session beginning soon. Enjoy.